Have you ever picked up a carton of orange juice, read the label, and noticed the words "from concentrate" printed somewhere on the side? It sounds oddly scientific for something as simple as juice. Some people assume it means the drink is artificial, watered down, or somehow less real than fresh juice. Others barely notice it at all. But those two little words actually tell a surprisingly fascinating story about food preservation, global shipping, and the way modern grocery stores stay stocked year-round. And believe it or not, the idea behind concentrated juice helped transform the juice industry during the 20th century. Today, we will uncover how juice became easier to store, cheaper to transport, and available almost everywhere, right here on History of Simple Things. Long before supermarkets existed, fruit juice was mostly something people made fresh at home. If oranges were in season, families squeezed oranges. If apples were harvested, cider was made. But fresh juice had one huge problem: it spoiled quickly. Without refrigeration, juice could ferment, sour, or grow bacteria within days. That meant juice was tied closely to local farms and harvest seasons. In colder months, many fruits simply weren't available. Drinking orange juice in winter in some parts of the world would have been nearly impossible. Things began to change in the early 1900s as refrigeration and industrial food processing improved. But the real breakthrough came during World War II. The United States military wanted a practical way to provide soldiers with vitamin C overseas. Fresh oranges spoiled too fast, and canned orange juice often tasted bitter after heating. Scientists and food engineers worked on a better solution, something compact, long-lasting, and easier to transport. Eventually, they developed frozen concentrated orange juice. The process was clever. Instead of shipping huge amounts of water inside juice, manufacturers removed much of the water first. Since juice is mostly water anyway, taking some out dramatically reduced the size and weight of the product. The concentrated juice could then be frozen, stored longer, and shipped much more efficiently. When consumers bought it, they simply mixed the concentrate with water again at home. That's where the term "from concentrate" comes from. To make juice concentrate, manufacturers first squeeze the fruit like normal. Then the juice is filtered and heated under controlled conditions so water can evaporate. In modern production, vacuum evaporation is often used because it lowers the boiling temperature, helping preserve flavor and nutrients better than simply boiling the juice aggressively. What remains is a thick, syrup-like concentrate containing the fruit's sugars, acids, and flavors in a much smaller volume. Later, during packaging, water is added back into the concentrate until it returns to its original strength. The final product is essentially reconstructed juice. That reconstructed juice is what gets labeled "from concentrate." Now here's the part many people don't realize. From concentrate juice is still real juice. In many countries, food regulations require it to come from actual fruit juice, not artificial flavorings pretending to be juice. The process removes water, not the fruit itself. Nutritionally, it can still contain vitamins, minerals, and natural sugars from the original fruit. However, there can be differences between juice from concentrate and not from concentrate juice. Freshly squeezed juice often contains more delicate aroma compounds that give fruit its bright, fresh flavor. Some of these compounds can be lost during concentration and storage. To compensate, manufacturers sometimes reintroduce flavor essences or aroma packs collected from the fruit earlier in the process. That's one reason some orange juices taste remarkably consistent year after year, even though oranges naturally vary by season and region. Another difference is texture. Not from concentrate juice is usually processed less heavily and may taste closer to fresh squeezed juice, but it also tends to cost more because it requires more storage space and more expensive transportation. Imagine shipping thousands of gallons of water across countries or oceans. Concentrate reduces that burden dramatically. There's also an environmental angle to all of this. Transporting concentrated juice can actually reduce shipping emissions because fewer trucks, ships, and storage facilities are needed compared to transporting fully diluted juice. Less volume means more efficient logistics. Of course, processing and refrigeration still consume energy, so the environmental picture is complicated, but concentration solved several major transportation challenges. Over time, consumer preferences shifted again. In the late 20th century, many shoppers became more interested in foods perceived as fresher and less processed. That's when labels like "not from concentrate" started appearing more prominently in stores. Companies realized consumers associated those words with freshness and quality. As a result, some brands began marketing "not from concentrate" juice as a premium option. But that doesn't automatically mean one type is unhealthy while the other is healthy. Both still contain naturally occurring sugars from fruit, and both can contain similar calorie levels. In fact, some nutritional differences between brands may have more to do with added ingredients, fortification, or processing methods than the phrase "from concentrate" itself. So the next time you see the phrase "from concentrate," you'll know it isn't some mysterious chemical process. It's actually a practical solution born from history, science, and the challenge of keeping juice fresh while transporting it across long distances. Those two small words reflect decades of innovation in food preservation and global trade. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.